guys, my name is Jessica if you haven't seen me before. This is my YouTube channel where I just like to talk about plants and plant related things. I am super excited to announce that I have a microphone, so I really hope that it's working and I really hope that it makes a difference. I was lucky enough to be spoiled on Valentine's Day by my super awesome boyfriend with a microphone, so thanks babe. I'm quite excited to test it out and see if it makes a difference in my videos. With that, I am going to just let you guys know that this is obviously my YouTube channel about plants, but I am only a hobbyist and I just do this out of the enjoyment of plants, and I love learning and sharing what's going on with you guys. Take everything I say as just that, as my experience with all of these plants, and just bear that in mind. And if you guys have had a different experience, please do share them in the comments below. At the end of the day, we all do come from different parts of the world and we all have very different environments for our plants, and that does make a difference. So I'm in South Africa. It's very hot and dry here because I do live in the sort of mainland, like in Johannesburg, so no humidity, no ocean, no coast, unfortunately, just dry city air. So I'm going to let you guys know what today's video is going to be, and today is going to be my February favorite. I have capped myself to 5 so that I don't ever go over 5, because I just think maybe 5 plants for the month is anything more than that's a little bit excessive, and I would like to cap myself. But I'm also not going to force myself to choose 5 in these videos, so it'll always be 5 or less. This month it's actually 4. Yeah, there's obviously different reasons why I like these plants, and so I'm just going to get straight into it. The first plant that I'm going to be talking about was the first one that came to mind, and it is my really beautiful Hoya. Just grabbing it, it's a bit difficult, and it does have a peduncle at the moment, so I'm trying to be careful. It is my beautiful, sorry, getting caught up in wires. I gotta get used to this mic thing. It is my beautiful Hoya carnosa Crimson Queen. So I know that it's the Crimson Queen, obviously, because it's got the white on the outside. The princess has the white on the inside. And there is an India miner making so much noise, if you can hear it. This guy is actually growing in a Kokomi ball, or Kokomi ball, or however you say it. And it's actually done really, really well in this. I thought I was going to have to do, change it up. But I think I've had this plant for about a year. I bought it from Woolworths. Look how much it's grown. I'm going to insert a picture of what it used to look like, because it's actually grown really beautiful. But I get a hell of a lot of white leaves on this guy, as you can see. There's a hell of a lot, and they actually last for quite a long time. And he's gotten really, really nice and big. And the reason I'm loving him so much this month, these birds are literally screaming. So yeah, this guy is my favorite this month because I actually find myself staring at it so much at the moment. I'm getting so much growth. The growth comes out this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pink, and obviously then as it hardens off, it changes. But there's just so much growth. It's created so many new vines, and we have a beautiful peduncle. So obviously it normally hangs, so the peduncle hole hangs down like this, but it's an absolutely, I don't want to break them off, but it's also fine. Absolutely beautiful peduncle. It smells horrible, I'm not gonna lie. I don't like the smell of this one. My Matilde, the peduncles on the Matilde smell incredible, but this one smells like cooking chocolate, but not in a good way, just not a fan. So it's actually already peduncled, and those have all fallen off, and this is its second peduncle that I've now gotten from it in, I don't know, a few weeks. And I noticed about 2 days ago, if I haven't knocked them off, sorry, it's all getting tangled up together, but I have, a new little peduncle on the way as well. So good job, the flowers are absolutely stunning, and where it's positioned, I actually don't smell it too much. It's in my bedroom, and I don't smell it too much, but as you can just see, we've got vines coming for days. This guy is so happy growing. And I haven't had any issues with it actually being in the Kokomi ball. It's actually grown so much in it. I don't think I've had root rot, so obviously can't check, but with the amounts of growth that I'm getting for it, I would just say no. The way I do water it, in case anybody's wondering, is I have this cooking bowl, like mixing bowl. It's a plastic one. that I fill with water. I generally do put fertilizer in this. I actually fertilize this plant every time I water it, and then I just, smacked myself, I sit it straight in this to water, and I just leave it there until it soaks up most of the water. At the moment you can see it's quite dry, it's all the cocoa bits are falling off, and I know that it needs watering. It doesn't get watered as much as I would probably like to, but because it's actually hanging, I have to ask my boyfriend to take it down for me so that I don't have to get step ladders, and because of that I don't water it as much as it should. But the fact that it's a Hoya, it's fine. I can tell that it needs water because if you look at the undersides of the leaves, they have gone wrinkly, and most of them have, so you can see that sort of wrinkle. It's also gone quite thin. They're normally quite thick, voluptuous leaves, but now they're this thin, sort of pliable, they're quite bendy, and so it needs water. So I'll water this as soon as it's down for this video. But yeah, absolutely loving this guy. I've been loving it for a while, and the growth is just impeccable, and it is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful plant. Look at all of this. I love it. And it doesn't hurt that it's giving me beautiful peduncles as well. So this guy's really ticking all the boxes at the moment. Sorry, I'm trying to get used to having a cable with this mark. Oh, I got moss all over the couch. It's okay. It's okay. Okay, so the next plant that is making me really happy this month is this begonia, my Begonia maculata wadii. I don't know how long I've had this for, but it went through, I had a thrips outbreak in the beginning of last year, so I must have had this probably almost 2 years. I know it doesn't look too good for 2 years. I don't want to call it an outbreak. I had thrips on a few of my plants, but it was a time in my life when I really didn't have time. When I found the thrips, it stressed me out a lot. And so what I ended up doing is every single plant in my plant room, I treated all the ones that definitely had thrips separately on its own. And then after I treated all of those, I took every single plant in my plant room, took it out of the leca substrate, which is what I actually really love about leca. Took everything out of the leca, boiled all of the leca, and then put every single plant into my bath. These are obviously the ones that I hadn't seen any thrip damage on or seen thrips themselves on, but I have a lot of plants growing into my plant room. I move a lot of my plants around, so if I see some form of a bug on one of my plants, I just like to assume that it's potentially been in contact with a lot of my plants because I move things around. I always do in and out of rooms, and I just like doing that with my plants. So anyway, I put all of the ones that I hadn't seen thrips on, just put it all in the bath, the roots, the leaves, and I put neem, dishwashing liquid, and I actually did also use a little bit of an insecticidal soap. I just let everything sit in that bath for a pretty long time, I think like 20 minutes, then took everything out, rinsed it all off. I rinsed it off, put it in the bath, then rinsed it off again, potted it back up. Then the next week I gave everything another wash down. But this was one of the plants that really didn't appreciate that. It dropped almost every leaf. I actually thought I'd lost this plant, hence why now I'm so happy and so chuffed with it, because look how pretty it's looking. Shame, this guy really struggled. It wasn't happy with me, and it has now bounced back beautifully, and this has only been in the last few months. It was holding on for a little while, and it was really trying, and in the last month it just shot right up. It's given me these 2 new leaves, I think this month, and this other branch over here, I think it's given me these 3 leaves. So, you know, in the last month it's really tried very hard to look beautiful again, and so I'm really starting to enjoy this plant. When I did treat everything for thrips, I knew that some of my plants would not like the way that I was treating it, but it was at a point where it was like, I'm either going to lose a load of my plants to thrips, or I'm going to lose some plants from treating everything harshly. I did it, and this guy bounced back, and I'm just so happy that he did. It's quite strange, when I bought this guy, they really weren't available on the market, and now they're just everywhere. So I'm glad I don't have to rebuy him, but if I needed to, it actually wouldn't have been a problem. I can actually just go down the road and get one from Hecker's now if I wanted to, but it's so nice that I didn't have to. I'd already bought this, spent money on it. I would much rather just have this one and keep this one happy and healthy. Beautiful plant, absolutely stunning plant. Doesn't really require much of me. It's living in my plant room, but I'm probably going to take it out because it doesn't need the high humidity, it doesn't need the extra light. It's so happy and content all on its own. So I'm probably going to be moving it into my living area at some point now that it's looking good again. That is my second favorite for February. Now my third one. This is a really cool plant. And that is this marble queen pothos, or an epipremnum, I think it's an aurea. And I'm actually just really loving this particular one. So my sister and I bought this plant years ago, and we bought one and we separated it up, and she took half and I took half because, I mean, we knew we could propagate it down and get as much as we wanted out of it. So we used to do that quite often. We would buy a few plants together and then separate them and propagate them up, so we were spending less money and getting a little bit more plants, and we both had cuttings of them, and it works really well. Sorry, I got cats running around everywhere, so if you hear bells, it's the cats. So this is actually my sister's part of the plants. When she moved to Cape Town, she didn't take certain plants because obviously something like this, it's just easier for her to buy there again rather than transport down there. But she left it at my mom's house, and my mom's been looking after it, and it's been doing really, really well. But this is just an absolutely beautiful part of the plant. This has so much white, showing that leaves a little bit damaged, and it's been growing. Like, look how much, I don't know, the actual leaves themselves have the most beautiful white and the most beautiful little speckles on it. It reminds me of speckled eggs a little bit. This has actually been growing in a really dark spot. It's not this white because of light, because it's been growing in my mom's lounge by her TV cabinet, and it's actually nowhere near a window. I would actually say it gets very, very low light. And it's been happily pushing out these beautiful leaves. It has started to suffer a little bit. It's kind of stopped growing a little bit over the last few months and stuff. So I actually just said to my mom, I want that plant. I've wanted it for a while. Between my sister and I, once this started growing, we kind of saw that hers was a much better part of the plant than mine was. And ever since then I wanted it, but I wasn't going to take her plant from her, you know. But I mean, how can you, look how beautiful these leaves are. They are super white. So I know that you get like the marble queen, which we bought this as, and then you get like the snow queen. Not actually sure, I'm not sure. I've heard a lot of people say that they're different plants, and then I've also heard a lot of people say that it is the same plant, some just come out a lot whiter, and so people were calling it the snow queen just because it was much whiter, whereas the marble almost has like a bit of like a yellowy undertone. And I'm going to show you my one so that you can see what I'm talking about and why I actually just absolutely love this. Okay, so this is my one. So my one's obviously much bigger in terms of it's got a lot more leaves, but they're a lot smaller. I don't have it growing up anything, but this is in a very high light area. It is growing in my plant room, and it gets a lot of good light. But you can see it's got quite a lot of, I mean, it's got beautiful leaves, beautiful variegation, got a lot of green, so very odd because it is in actually a very high light area. The stem still has a lot of white, but we have a lot of green. And if you look at the new growth, like if you look at the leaves that I have that are very marbly, they've got quite a yellow sort of undertone to them. So they're not as white as, say, my sister's is. Still a beautiful plant. It's still got the most beautiful leaves where it is variegated, you know, where it is showing this beautiful speckling, but it's definitely got a yellowy undertone. So this one you can definitely tell is much whiter than this one. So this has got a yellowy undertone, and I know in the video this kind of looks a bit yellowy as well. The leaf shape's also slightly longer. I don't know, they just look really different, but they were bought in the same pot and we just split it up. Grown in low light, and this one's grown in my plant room in quite high light. So interesting to see. This one hasn't grown much, so as you can see, obviously it's a much smaller plant. This one has grown quite a lot. So very happy with this plant at the moment. I actually took it from my mom this month sometime, hence why it's in this month's favorite, because it's kind of a newish plant. But it's a plant that I've seen every time I go to mom's house, which is like multiple times a week. So not really a new plant, but it's new in my house, and I absolutely love it. have it on my TV counter, so I get to see it all the time, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. The fourth plant, and my last plant for this video, that I am absolutely thoroughly loving this month is one that you guys have actually seen quite a lot. So I kind of felt bad. I almost thought about maybe not putting it in because of how much you guys have seen it, but then I just thought to myself, at the end of the day, I'm loving this plant for a reason. I'm showing it a lot because I'm obviously enjoying it a lot. So I'm not going to just show you a plant because I haven't shown it before, if that makes sense. Like, I'm going to show you what I love. But I also thought I could do a little bit of an update with it, because a large portion of why I love it is a good update for my pupping video that I did, my Aetherium clarinovium pupping video. So anyway, this is it. It is my Aetherium clarinovium. And if you guys watched, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, I did a video on separating the pups from this. And remember I showed you that other little one that I left on? Well, it has given a leaf, and I think this is about 3 weeks later. So cutting off all those other little bits really helped push this guy and give us a beautiful little baby. So the reason I'm loving it is, one, it's just a beautiful plant. Every time I look at it, it makes me super, super happy. As you can see, he's still a little bit wonky because I repotted him. It takes a little while for all the roots to cling onto leca again and hold themselves firm. So he's starting to get firm, but he's still a little wonky at the top. Absolutely just loving this plant at the moment. Every time I look at it, it is just beautiful. Like, how can you not stare at this plant? The contrast just in the veins, it is so beautiful. Absolutely love it. And I'm going to be giving you an update on those other little pups and cuttings. So this was the little pup that I cut off. It was starting to crisp up. I've left the leaves on. I mean, this one I've considered chopping a little bit, but I've just kind of left it on for now. But he's getting his next little leaf. So he's doing really well. So this only started popping out like yesterday or the day before. So quite excited to see this new little guy get some leaves. And he hadn't actually gotten any new leaves on the mother plant for quite a while. So I think he definitely needed to kind of be separated off. The mother plant isn't in a huge pot, which isn't a problem, but I do find when it's trying to put out too much, it's just a bit hectic. So for it to try be pupping twice, and I was letting some of the inflorescence grow, it's put so much energy into those pups and so much energy into inflorescence that the whole plant just sort of takes a strain. But I decided to cut the inflorescence off. I found out that the clarinovium itself takes 9 months to create seeds, so I kind of just decided I would rather have leaves on my plant and let it grow leaves than try and make more via seeds at the moment. As much as I really want to, I think I might purchase some other Aetheriums rather first and do it with that. I don't know. I really want to do the seed thing. I really do, but I don't think I want to stop the growth on my clarinovium for 9 months. Maybe, you know, if all of these guys get nice and big and I have a few of them, I'd be happy to do it with one of them, but I want to watch leaves grow at the end of the day. As much as, yeah, I would just rather buy some other ones. But anyway, this is the bottom piece that I chopped off that I wasn't expecting to chop off, and I didn't realize that this was also pupping. But that little section, I'm getting it close, that little section has now given off a leaf. And I honestly think it's going to give off 3 more separate plants on that little piece. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show. I might have to. It's so hard to show, but there's kind of like another little one there and another little one there. Over here is one that looks like it might leaf. Next to it might leaf, right obviously where this leaf is. And then right on the inside over here, there's potential for another leaf. So this guy's just really exciting. I can't believe that this little thing is doing so much. And then if you actually look right in, I might actually stick in a little shot of this rather. If you look right in, is actually pushing a little pup over there. It's popping another little pup. So like I said, if all of these actually start taking off quite well, then I potentially would try maybe get an inflorescent to seed on this. But I'm not willing to potentially only have one plant and let that seed. You know, if I end up having like 3 of these growing just from here, if I let those grow out for a few months, let them have a few inflorescence, apparently the first few inflorescence don't really work out too well for seeding. You got to let it mature a little bit. I might do that for this, and then I'm happy to let sort of one work on seeding for 9 months when I've still got one that I can actually just enjoy growing and have in my collection. But yeah, how cool are these guys? Like, I'm so chuffed how I literally went from having one clarinovium with a pup to one clarinovium with a pup and another pup that I've separated, and this part that's just pupping all over the place. So really cool, really cool. And with that was my last favorite for February. I'm really enjoying my plants at the moment. I'm really just enjoying the little things, each leaf again, especially when they pump and they do cool things like that. And I just feel like a lot of my plants, as much as we are heading more towards winter, I just feel like a lot of them are doing really well. I want to say thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this. It was just a nice casual comfy video. Let me know if you enjoyed this spot. It's a little bit more comfortable for me to just chill on the couch and chat to you guys, a little bit more relaxed. The lighting is also interesting in here. We have a big stacking door right in front of me, and then we obviously have a huge big window over there and that there, so playing with the lighting gets a little bit interesting in here. If you enjoyed this video, please do like it. It really helps the channel. If you enjoy plant content and like listening to me babble, then please do subscribe. I would love to have you guys along a lot more frequently. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye guys.